President Biden is intensifying his rhetoric against President Putin. For the first time yesterday, the American president accused the Russian leader of committing genocide in Ukraine. He made the statement during his comments in Iowa, then later doubled down in front of reporters.
Your family budget, your ability to fill up your tank, none of it should hinge on whether a dictator declares war and commits genocide in half a world away.
Yes, I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of even being able to be a Ukrainian. We'll let the lawyers decide internationally whether or not it qualifies, but it sure seems that way to me.
There are several other major developments this morning on the ground in Ukraine. Civilian evacuations are being put on hold despite that expected Russian assault on the eastern Donbas region. Ukraine's deputy prime minister says the situation is too dangerous to open any humanitarian corridors today. In Mariupol, the mayor says 100,000 people remain stranded, and there are growing signs the besieged city could soon fall after Russia's defense ministry said more than 1,000 Ukrainian troops have surrendered. But there is a big break for Ukrainian forces who say they've arrested the leader of the country's largest opposition party. The pro-Russian politician had been under house arrest before the war, but later fled when the invasion began. And yesterday, President Putin appeared alongside his counterpart from Belarus. Putin said Western sanctions had failed, adding that Russia will achieve its, quote, noble aims in the war. NBC News global correspondent Raf Sanchez joins us now from Lviv. Raf, good to have you with us. So let's start off with those comments by President Biden accusing Putin of committing genocide. The first time we've heard that from him. Now, we know when the president went off script before and accused the Russian leader of war crimes, the White House was playing defense, trying to clean those comments up. So how significant is this moment?
This is a big moment, Savannah. A week ago, genocide was not a term the White House was comfortable using, and that changed last night. President Biden said it once in a speech, scripted remarks in Iowa, and then he clarified it again to reporters, and he gave two real reasons. He said, one, he feels Vladimir Putin is basically trying to stamp out Ukrainian nationhood with this invasion. And two, he just pointed to the scale of the horror of what we're seeing in Bucha and other suburbs around Kyiv. Local authorities in the Kyiv region saying they have found the bodies of 700 civilians now, 400 of them in the Bucha suburb alone, and there are several hundred more missing. As President Biden said, genocide is a legal term, and he said he would defer to lawyers in the White House, in the State Department, to make a final determination about whether what we're seeing meets the legal threshold of genocide. Savannah?
Now, Raf, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, for the first time in quite a while, there are going to be no humanitarian corridors opening today. Do we know more about why that is and how much of a blow it's going to be to places like Mariupol, where the situation is so dire, 100,000 people still trapped? And also on the subject of Mariupol, are the Russians getting closer to capturing that city?
Yeah, so the Russians are trying to close the vice around Mariupol, and part of that is there are no humanitarian corridors out of the city today. To be totally clear, it's been very difficult for civilians to get out of Mariupol anyway, even when the corridors are in theory open, because there's basically no gas left in the city. So people get into private cars, but they can't really get out. Now, we spoke to an officer with the Azov Regiment. That is the far-right militia that is leading the defense of Mariupol. And I asked him about President Zelensky's claim that there may be tens of thousands of civilians killed in the city. And I asked him whether his forces have what they need to continue Mariupol's defense. Take a listen.
A lot of civilians died because of the starvation. People right now cannot receive the supplies of the food and the water.
Let me ask you, what do you need right now to defend Mariupol?
We have limited ammunition. So to cope with this problem, we need more ammunition. We need the supplies. We need more weaponry. We need more ammunition. We need more medical care for our wounded.
Savannah, Ukraine's government says a Marine unit was able to break through Russian lines in Mariupol earlier today, link up with the Azov regiment, which is good news from their side, but there is still a very difficult fight ahead there. Savannah?
Absolutely. And quickly, Raf, I do want to ask you about the capture of that pro-Russian opposition leader we mentioned. Tell us about him, why he was under house arrest in the first place, and what the plan is now.
Yeah, so this is not just any pro-Russian politician. This guy is considered Putin's closest ally in Ukraine, Viktor Medvedchuk. Putin is actually the godfather to one of Medvedchuk's daughters. He was put under house arrest before the invasion on suspicion of pro-Russian treason, but he escaped amid the chaos as Russian troops crossed the border. President Zelensky says he's prepared to release him back into Russian custody, but he wants the Russians to release Ukrainian troops in return. Not clear right now if that's a prisoner swap the Kremlin is going to agree to. Savannah?
All right, Raf Sanchez, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.